Hello ratbags, it's Jade. Welcome to a grounded hotfix update, guys. It went live last night. Here is the 3 big things you need to know about this update, and then I'm going to read off all the patch notes so you're up to date. If you're a fan of arrows, then you're going to be happy as they've buffed how many you get and the damage that the gas arrows do as well. That's a pretty big one too. As always, for the best in grounded news, content, previews, make sure you got me subscribed, and let's go through what you need to know about the hotfix. Ever since the last update, the cold-blooded quest line hasn't really worked correctly, or it doesn't seem to give the right types of items. Well, the devs have now fixed that. When you complete the cold-blooded quest, which has you go in and get the chip from the paint tin, you will now unlock Pebble foundations, Pebble sloped ramps, and you will get the Acorn Plus recipe. You don't have to wait until you get the quest from Burgle. You can go ahead straight to the paint tin and you should find it around here. I've already picked it up, hence why it's not on show, and I didn't want to have to start a completely brand new fresh save. But once you do, it will give you the recipes when you hand it back into Burgle. The problem then is you've got to buy them. There are lots of science points needed to get the Acorn Plus and the Pebble foundations. Number 2, they've finally added the buff properly to the fresh defense mutation. It wasn't working correctly. It should now protect you in the gases when you get it. So I'm hoping that does mean it will protect you against stink bug gas as well as just the weed killer gas. And number 3 is that they've changed the size of the mint box. Supposedly they've made it larger so that you can get inside to get more of the mints if you're having problems. Now to me, it didn't seem like it was that easy to get inside. In fact, it seemed even harder. So I guess you might have to build a ramp or put a foundation and then crouch and get inside. But supposedly this is bigger now. So remember, to get the quest, the cold-blooded quest, you just simply have to go and get the mission from him, the chip sleuth one, and then go complete it. And you'll obviously get some science points, but like I said, you can go and get that chip early if you want to start building some of the Pebble foundations a bit quicker. But you do need a lot of science points. It's pretty expensive. I'm pretty sure it's like 3,000 for the Acorn Plus and around 5,000 for the Pebble upgrades. But again, do correct me on that. When I went to record the footage, something went wrong with it, so I didn't want to have to redo it again. But I did want to get this out to you guys and show you. But yeah, it's a lot of science points to buy them 2 upgrades or 1 new item for the base parts. They do look good though. This is the Pebble foundations next to the clay and they are much stronger. So I really like this. It's going to add a lot to builds and bases, making sure you're defensible. I calculated it as around 18 hits with a spiky sprig, and obviously the clay foundation could only withstand about 4 hits. I'm using a hammer here just to show you guys, reference it as well. You can see it only takes like 4 or 5 hits to get rid of the clay, so it's definitely an improvement. You're going to need 3 clay and 1 pebblet to make a brand new pebblet foundation, so I really hope they start doing even more stone stuff. I'd love to see some stone walls or pebblet walls. That would be a great idea if that's coming as another tier, and just showing you how slow the normal shovel is and then how quick it is using the brand new Shovel Plus. It's definitely going to be really good if you're going to be building this stuff and making a brand new base from it. So that's what I consider some of the biggest features. There are a lot more though. Let's go over the patch notes quickly. There's lots to do with saving games, and arrows have been buffed. You will get more arrows now when you craft the gas ones and the feather arrows. So the top community stuff that you guys said was a problem, they've hopefully fixed. Chat log will now show your own messages in the lobby and the game. Ants will no longer be able to steal items from containers out of reach of them. You can now overwrite save games. Save games are grouped by playthrough in the save load menu, so it'll pop up that all your games in mild mode, all your games in creative mode, they'll all be there together. Fixed an issue where the camera would go inside the player while in third person, camera when near specific building structures. The grub audio has been adjusted, it won't be as loud. It was scaring the bejeebers out of me more than a spider when that one would come up. They've helped better render performance with dynamic shadow culling. Major updates. They've added a message that will notify PC players when the system clock does not match the server clock. This issue prevented these players from hosting or joining games, so that's a big one for PC players. Save games now show an icon indicating that if a save was made while using single player or multiplayer. I couldn't actually see that. Oh yeah, it affects only new saves going forward. That's why, because I hadn't made a new save. More accurate handling of cloud save upload deletion for Xbox and Windows 10 store versions of the game. And the save game max storage on Xbox Windows 10 has been increased from 250 MB to 1 GB. It takes effect on reinstall. so you might have to actually reinstall the game to get more save space if you need it. Fix an issue with saves triggered while having an unplaced building blueprint that could cause the save not to load properly, so hopefully that's done now. General fixes. The gas damage effect has been missing from the fresh defense mutation. As I showed you guys, that is now fixed. Fixed items that are not moving around with physics at the time of save not being saved in the save games. Fixed clients not being able to see others aim their bodies when they look up and down. Added the acorn shovel recipe, the Pebble foundation recipe, and as I said, you get that from the cold-blooded burgle quest. Enlarged mint container and resized the mints to make them slightly smaller so players can get into the ice cap container more easily. The collectible scabs properly disappear on clients when picked up, and they've included a fix for the missing leaves throughout the world. I'm guessing this is something that we should have been picking up. I've never come across a natural one, I don't think, unless they're talking about the big ones that fall from the oak tree. But it does look like leaves are going to be an item we use to make like the leaf blower as well as the catapult in the future. Slime mold stalk patches properly disappear on clients when the entire stalk is collected. Water fleas no longer leave the water to fly around the backyard. They've added a unique icon to the simple bed. Gas arrows can now be picked up as regular arrows after being shot. Gas arrows now deal twice as much damage. Gas arrow recipes now produce 2 arrows instead of 1. Feather arrow recipes produce 2 arrows instead of 1. Fix an issue where players would respawn inside the simple bed instead of next to it, and weapons now do proper damage type when thrown. They've fixed the Tropico juice box not spawning drops from the straw, and they've adjusted the interactable highlights to be less intrusive. There we go guys, that is everything you need to know in about 6.5 minutes of Grounded. Let me know what you think. Obviously got a big update at the end of the month, and I'm sure we'll get one more hotfix before then. Any other changes, anything that's slipped in new, I will be the first person to show you always. Until next time, rat bags, laters.